Hey beautiful people, today we're here to talk about the incredibly exciting and sexy topic of how to deal with technical debt. Once you know you have technical debt, the question is, are you going to fix it? Are you going to fix it later? Are you going to live with it? Today we're going to talk through how to make that call. Hi, I'm Jennifer Kenny. I'm the best-selling author of The Innovation Mindset. I help leaders make smart trade-offs in highly complex technical projects. In these sort of environments, this is where technical debt moves from theory to daily practice. If you're in this environment, tech debt is part of your daily practice. And if it isn't, I hope this video helps you make it part of your daily practice. 77% of American households carry some level of debt, which means that the vast majority of us are familiar with debt in some way. If you're buying a house, if you're buying a car, if you're going to college, there's a fairly good chance that you have a deep personal understanding of debt. You also have a very valuable, visceral experience of managing debt that I really encourage you to tap into, even though it might be a little bit painful. And you understand the trade-offs between, are you going to fix it now? Are you going to fix it later? Are you going to live with it? So we're going to look at technical debt through that lens and in that context, mostly because that's a very ready-to-hand experience for the vast majority of us. Step number one is to begin to classify your debt. Is it deliberate, in which case it's probably strategic? Is it accidental? Let's talk about that in a minute. Or is it bit rot, which is part of the erosion of the quality of your software that just happens over time? So let's talk about deliberate, intentional debt or strategic debt. So on a personal level, if I decide that I want to buy a house, I am going to get myself into intentional strategic debt. I'm going to take on a mortgage and I'm going to plan how it is I'm going to be able to pay down that mortgage over a 30-year lifetime. Now, if you buy and sell your house, in that you're going to close down one mortgage and start off another one. So depending on how long you've been around, how many houses you might have moved to or from, you will have an understanding of mortgages and kind of how they work. Strategic technical debt is very similar. You take it on intentionally, it is strategic, you are aware of it, and the most important thing in here is you have plans for how it is you're going to pay it down over a period of time. So the parallel between mortgages and strategic technical debt is actually really useful, because what it allows us to be able to do is get a feel for how we are going to set up our project to pay down the technical debt over time. The accidental debt is the, oops, I went on a fabulous holiday, had a wee bit too much fun with a whole bunch of friends and came home to a rather significant credit card debt. Or I was overly generous sometime during the holidays and bought everyone wonderful presents, which I feel fabulous about, but now I have to go back and look at the debt on my credit card that I have to deal with. That sort of accidental debt you have a good feel for, because I doubt there are very few of us out there who haven't done that at least once in a lifetime. So as you start thinking about that, think about the practices that you put in place to help you get rid of that, to deal with it now, deal with it later, or live with it. The bit rot is just the day-to-day, what I call the operating costs. It's the maintenance, it's the management of software on an ongoing basis. It's also the management of your life on an ongoing basis. It's the operating costs of just being alive. It's the cost of filing your taxes. It's the cost of maintaining your home. Think of it in those terms and recognize it as a necessary payment that you're going to have to make on an ongoing basis. It's something that you're going to incur just by being here, just by developing software. So once you've started classifying your debt, the next thing that you want to do is you want to align it with your strategy. So if your life strategy, we're coming back to our metaphor of mortgages and personal debt, if your life strategy is that you want to be able to build a legacy for your family, then your strategy is going to be buy property and pay it down as quickly as you possibly can. Similar to tech debt on a project, if your strategy is that you want to be able to get features and functionality into your end user's hands as quickly as you possibly can, what you're acknowledging there is you're going to incur a certain level of technical debt, and you are going to build the paying down of that technical debt into phases in between your feature releases. Now, If you allow your customers to push you so hard on the feature releases that you have zero time to pay down the technical debt after a feature has been released or multiple features have been released, then what you're doing is you're going to continue to incur technical debt and you're never going to get yourself out from underneath it. So as you start thinking about this, it would be comparable to you buy a fantastic new house, you have a mortgage, you decide you want to build an extension, you decide you want to put on a new roof, you decide that you want to put in solar systems, you decide that you want to put in a new greenhouse. Whatever it is you decide that you want to do, you do it while you still have your mortgage debt. Now you've got twice the debt that's building up on top of you. If you don't have a plan for paying that down or for saving up in order to be able to do it or for paying down your mortgage debt over time, it's very similar to that when you continue to just add on more technical debt because you're adding on more features and you're not taking that phase time in between features to begin to reduce the technical debt, or you don't have it as an ongoing practice that happens every single day, that's an integral part of your project and is budgeted into your project work. McKinsey has done a study on this, thank you McKinsey, and they have said that companies can lose 20 to 40% of their development capacity to unaddressed technical debt. So as you start thinking about managing technical debt the same way you would start managing your own finances with thresholds, with standards, with plans to pay it down, start recognizing that unattended technical debt is going to erode the chances of your project succeeding in the long term. The other thing that you need to do with your technical debt is you need to prioritize it based on the impact. So risk to business operations is a serious negative impact of technical debt, effect on speed and quality, and regulatory and security implications. So depending on what kind of environment that you work in, recognize that your tech debt ratio, the amount of debt you're carrying to the size of your project, is going to be very important as you start thinking about how you prioritize reducing that and managing that based on the risk and the associated impact. I can't overemphasize this enough. Since all of us end up incurring technical debt at some point in our projects, and 77% of us end up incurring debt in our lives, then it's really important that we integrate this management of tech debt into our planning and reduction of tech debt into our planning. We've all met individuals who carry debt with them for the duration of their entire lives, and they just carry it along like an extra piece of baggage, and they manage it so that people aren't foreclosing on their houses and sending them to prison, but they manage it as they drag it along with them. You don't want to be one of the people who's bringing technical debt with you to projects continuously everywhere you go. It'll produce an enormous amount of stress for you. So we need to integrate the debt into the planning, integrate a particular percentage of each sprint for reducing technical or paying off technical debt, for each project for reducing and paying off technical debt, for each project for managing and understanding and setting thresholds for and reducing technical debt. Whenever you have a feature delivery that will allow you to be able to go back and do some fixes to a pre-existing code, make sure that you're tying those two together. That requires that you have a pretty sophisticated understanding of the debt and a really good way of managing it. Now, you may not start with that level of capability out of the gate, but if you start off with classifying it, you start off with measuring it, you start off with building team understanding of it, what you will do over time is you'll begin to see that there's a ladder of sophistication and progress that you can use to really be able to manage tech debt. I talked in a previous video about the importance of communicating the business case associated with tech debt. One of the things that I've discovered is that project teams don't really like talking about technical debt any more than you like going to a dinner party and talking about personal debt with friends. It's embarrassing, it's awkward, it's annoying, you'd rather you didn't have it. But tech debt is very similar in terms of it's embarrassing, it's awkward, and you really would rather that you didn't have it. But the fact is, you do have it. You probably do have it. And if you're listening to this video, you definitely have it. So if you have technical debt, make sure that the people who are your customers for the work that you're doing on this particular project that you're concerned about, that they understand the strategic impact and the operational impact of technical debt. They understand what it is in a simple way, and I've got other videos where I explain what it is. You could ask them to watch those. And that it also allows that you have measurements for it, you have standards for it, and you have practices amongst your team for handling it, managing it, paying it down, leveraging it strategically. The power of talking about it as part of the business case allows your customers to be able to understand the impact of the trade-off between additional features and high quality product ready code. And the reason why I say that is very few people understand that. Very few internal customers in organizations or even in product groups fully understand what the implications of that are. If you're going to become a person who's going to become responsible for your technical debt, there's an amazing opportunity here if you manage it well and you can talk about it as part of the business case, where you're actually bringing that conversation to the table in a way that shows that you are in control of it and you have metrics and standards around it, and it allows you to then be able to say, we could absolutely deliver on this feature by this date, but I want to let you know that we are going to increase our technical debt ratio to the value of the project if we continue down this path. I would invite you to understand what it means for us to be in technical debt, and the robustness and long-term validity of the code is going to be eroded if we continue to go down this path. Now, what you're doing in there is you're not complaining and pushing back as much as you are educating and asking for a shared responsibility. Once you start tying your tech debt to the business case, tying your tech debt to the business outcomes, tying your tech debt to the impact for the overall project and the long-term impact for the success of the product that you're building, you begin to have different kinds of conversations, and people begin to understand the inner workings of your team much more effectively, and they work with you to create room to be able to manage this effectively. I have another video on this. I have a series of videos on this, but I have another video on this that I think that you might find useful, which is what is technical debt and how to manage it. That talks about the beginning conceptualization of how to handle this and how to get yourself organized around it. If you have found this video valuable, please give me a thumbs up or subscribe. Let me know in the comments how this is working for you. If you have questions on this, put them in there and I will answer them for everyone. I wish you the very best of luck in managing this somewhat difficult but very manageable aspect of every single software project. And I hope that you get progressively better at it, and I wish you the best of luck. Take care.